G'day beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at building decks for rangers. I'm not going to build specific decks that are beast, that you should copy down and use straight away. It will more than likely be a decent build that you can use. We're more going to focus on getting you to understand how to build one yourself. Rangers are arguably one of, if not the most important members of your team. They provide extreme amounts of damage in team fights, and building them incorrectly can lead to a very, very inefficient build. There are many ways to build them to get an end result that is very, very efficient. So we're going to go over that today. There are also ways to build them that just end up not working at all, okay? Because if you can get to 60 CP and I give you tips on how to play a ranger, it's not really going to matter if I don't at least show you how to build so that it's effective. So people at a higher tier are probably not going to find too much of use in this video, and I am going to be using the deck builder on the Paragon website, on the Epic Games website. So if you get to the end of this video, please leave me a comment and let me know whether you think it would be better for me to actually record this from in-game, whether you think it would be easier to follow along, because I know it can be a little bit difficult to sort of see as you go. So I've got 4 empty slots here, so we're going to be building a couple of decks. Okay, so we're going to be building for Murdoch, for Twin Blast, for Sparrow, and for Grim. Okay, so we'll start off with Grim. As I always say, Ranger, go for a Warlord, okay? And then what we need to do, okay, is the most important things for a Ranger are power, crit, attack speed, okay, but maybe not, lifesteal. Alright, lifesteal is a personal choice. I personally think it is a great thing for a Ranger because he's outputting immense amounts of damage and gaining a lot of life. Okay, so we'll start with the lifesteal because it's really easy, especially for Grim. Okay, if this ever decides to actually load in, my internet is being really, really shit right now, which I could probably fix by pausing a download that I am doing. So we'll pause that, see if that helps it along. Okay, now these are the options that we have for Grim for lifesteal cards, okay? There are a couple of good ones, and one that is just insanely better than anything else. Okay, so you have things like Vital Tap. Personally, I don't think the Intellect cards are very good for lifesteal. That 150 health that you get on a Vital Tap is just pretty much useless. And I normally personally go for 20 lifesteal on a Ranger, okay? So if we wanted to make this card give us 20 lifesteal, we would have to put a major and a major drain and 2 normal drains, okay, to get to 20 lifesteal, which would mean it to be a 10-point card. This one here, same again, 1.4 lifesteal, like it's really not worth it. With this, you would be building an 8-point card, which is really good, but the 1.4 health regen's not really that worth it. Thirst Fang is another good option. You do get a fair bit of power out of it, but it's a 4-point card and you are going to have to be putting 6 points onto it, so it's going to be a 10 again, okay? But you are getting 12 points of power. I personally would go for either Thirst Fang or the Curse of the Leech, okay? But I tend to go with Curse of the Leech. I think it's the best option here. You have Black Blood Virus for your crit bonus card, but once again, like, that's 7 points. So if you are going for 20, which you don't have to go for 20, you could go for 10 or 15 if you feel like that works better for you. I just really like to have 20 because I like to get a little bit aggressive and put myself in stupid situations. So we grab the Curse of the Leech, and once again, wait for it to load in. Okay, so we're going to get 10 lifesteal off this. So your options are to go for a drain and 2 lesser drains, okay? So that will put you to 20 lifesteal right there, which is a very good option. It's going to put you at 8 points. But when I tend to go for it a little bit earlier, so the way I actually do it is to go for 2 drains and then a minor cast or a minor strike, whichever. Okay, so that's our lifesteal card. Alright, it's very, very good on a ranger. Always go for that. A little bit of lifesteal, especially if you're learning to use rangers. Lifesteal is a really good card to go with. Okay, the next thing that we need is attack speed. We're just going to do the easy stuff early on. Your best option is pretty much always a whirling wand. You get a lot of attack speed out of it, included on your fully upgraded bonus. So the way that attack speed works, okay, is you will start the game and you're at 100% attack speed. Okay, that means that if we come over to here and we actually go and we have a look at Grim, this might take a little bit, no, it's fine. And we look at his basic attack, okay, his cooldown is 1.2. That means he can fire once every 1.2 seconds, okay? So 100% attack speed means you can fire once every 1.2 seconds, okay? So, if you were to get to 200% attack speed, that would mean you'd be firing once every 0.6 of a second. Okay, now the caps are, they have changed them now. Sparrow was different before. I'm not sure what all the attack speed caps are now, but I'm pretty sure they're around about 245%, but going to 200% is quite a good option. But what I normally do is just go and make this a 9-point card. Okay, normally I would, with other rangers, I would just put 3 minor kinetics on, but I feel like Grim actually suffers a bit with low damage, so for Grim I normally go for 2 kinetics and a strike. Okay, but as I've said, these amounts that are on here, the amount of lifesteal you get, the amount of attack speed you get, it is completely relative to how you play the game, okay? Some people like to have a Murdoch that hits really hard and not necessarily so fast, so they can take their time, land their shots, do as much damage as possible. Some people are extremely good at aiming and they want to land as many shots as possible and maximize their DPS, so they will go for a higher attack speed, but that is relative and it's up to you, okay? So now that we've done that, obviously we need crit damage. We've already got lifesteal, so we don't want that. We don't want basic pen or ability pen or mana, especially on Grim, because he's going to get mana for free when he uses his shield. And we want it to be as cheap as possible. So the cheapest way to build it is to build it as a 9-point card. Okay, easy, done. There you go. Okay, so now we have a 9-point crit bonus card, a 9-point lifesteal card, and a 9-point whirling wand. Okay. So considering we already have the 9s, that means we might as well go for 2 12s and 4 9s as a full build. Okay, so the next thing is, once again, kind of relative, okay? It's not really personal preference. I recommend that everybody takes a ward, okay? And if you're going to be using a ranger, the best option is more than likely going to be Sage's ward. Okay, but if you do play on comms with a support that is your friend and you always play together and he has wards, you can skip this, okay? But you should probably have a build with and a build without wards, okay? But for this instance, we're going to build a ward, alright? But before we get onto that, I just want to make sure we're getting the amount of crit that we want. Okay, so we're going to go to crit chance. Alright, now with crit chance, I like to stack as much crit chance on one card as I can. Okay, so that's why I go for a Spear of the Rift Hunter and I make it a 12-point card. That's going to give us 48 crit chance on one card. Okay, so there it is there, 12 points. Okay, so we have enough space for another 12 and a 9. Alright, normally I make my wards 12 points, but I feel like in this instance we might actually need to make our other crit card a 12. But we'll have a look because we're at 48. I tend to run between 64 and 68, one of those two numbers. So if I was to grab another Spear of the Rift Hunter, just maximizing it would give me 60. So I could grab another one and put a minor wound and a cast and a major cast, which will make it a 9-point card. We'll add that in. We have 12 points left. So I can make my ward a 12-point card. Okay, so Sage's Ward and make that a 12. Doesn't matter, they're all the same. Okay, so then this would be your finished build. You'd have a Ward as a 12-point card, you would have a crit chance card as a 12, and then you would have 4 9-point cards. Okay, now if we go to test the build, this is the reason why I really like this, is that we can just sort of add all this stuff on, and without me having to go and do a bloody bot match and then pressing my touchpad to bring up my stats, I can find out what they are right here at level 15. Okay, so we'd be sitting at about 162 power, which is pretty good for a crit build. We'd be sitting at 64% crit chance. Obviously, we got the 100% bonus. Our attack speed would be, at level 15, it would be 139 with no added attack speed, but we're adding 38 on top of that, so that would be 177.7, which is pretty decent. You could actually go and replace this, I feel like, because you're only going to be, you're going to go back to 150, but you gain a bit of attack speed, so we'd probably just leave it there. That is inconsequent, the amount of health, because that's off of our ward, and 20 lifesteal. Okay, so that's a pretty decent build. What you could actually do is to go for your Curse of the Leech, maybe change this to a 15 lifesteal card, so that would just be a Drain, a Strike, and a Minor Cast, and then you would have 15 lifesteal instead, and you'd be sitting on 174 power. Okay, 64% crit chance. I am not actually sure what these amounts are, whether that is a recommendation, because the dark yellow is what you have added. Okay, so this is where your attack speed sits at, just getting to level 15. This is what you've added, the yellow section. I don't actually know what that is. I might have to try and figure out what that is. Okay, but then as you can see, you got 15 lifesteal and you're running 174. It's probably not the best build in the world, but it's a build that's going to work because it contains all the basics that make a range great. Okay, crit bonus, lifesteal, damage and crit, damage and attack speed. Okay, so that's gonna work really, really well. One thing with Grim, I see a lot of people actually feel like because he's the more mana intensive of the ranges, that they should go for like stuff with mana on it or mana regen. If you want to do that and you feel like it works well for you, go for it. Don't let anyone tell you what to do, as long as you end up looking at your stats and you end up roughly what we had there. Okay, but his R1 sort of allows him to block things and replace his missing mana, so he doesn't really need it. Also, I would not suggest building basic pen, because the amount of pen that you're actually putting on is going to reduce the amount of damage that you actually have on your build, and therefore you're going to crit for less, because adding pen on, although it does lead to damage because it's allowing more damage to go through, it's not adding to the amount that you're critting for. Okay, so if you're critting for 500, if you were to take off 2 points of power and put 2 points of pen on, you're not going to hit anywhere near, you're not going to hit 500 because your crits have been lowered. You are getting more damage through, but you're not going to hit for as much. So I never go for basic pen, but that's pretty decent for a Grim build. It'll work. Apparently I have to name my deck, so we'll just put a freaking A down, and that'll be awesome. I did just save my deck, bro, but that's cool. You tell me I haven't saved it. That's fine. I don't mind. So we'll just go back here. We'll go and do a Murdoch. So I'll get this to load up if it ever decides it wants to do it for me. We'll grab Murdoch and we'll start a new deck and make it for the dock. Okay, so it's pretty much going to be the same thing again, but being Murdoch, okay, he's actually, Murdoch and Twin Blast are in the best place. as far as ranges go. They have really good options for things, okay? So we'll do it the same way and we'll go for lifesteal. Alright, so once again, I would not go for these two cards, okay? I would not go for Bubble Tap. Do not go for Touch of Thieves. No one uses 10-point cards, and there is a reason for it, because they're crap, okay? 20 lifesteal and 150 health is ridiculous. Yeah, because you're getting 11 points out of, like, if I can make an 8-point lifesteal card give me 20 lifesteal, okay, so there's 8 points. Technically, 150 health is 3 points, so you're getting 11 points of value out of a 10-point card. It's not really worth it, okay? So the things that people generally go for would not be Blood Riot Band. It would be Hunger Maul and Brand of the Iron Eater. I know a lot of people really like using Hunger Maul as a crit bonus card, and that is fair. It's killing two birds with one stone. It's getting a crit bonus and it's getting a lifesteal all in one card. So if you were to do that, that would be fine. Figure out how much lifesteal you feel like you need, 15 or 20, and go for it. Personally, I like to go for Brand of the Iron Eater because I'm getting a little bit of crit for free. Okay, and then you're getting 7.5 out of it. So if I want to hit 20, I need 2 5s and a 1. Okay, but so we'll just do that. We'll just go for that there. So that's an 8-point card. Lovely. That's our lifesteal done, and we've got 4 crit chance out of it. Okay, so for crit damage, I'd go for Blade of Agora, but you can consider going for Blast Harness if you really want to. Any of these are actually good options except for Agoran Scepter. A lot of people argue that Blast Harness is a waste, but it's not that bad, really. If you think about it, you're getting 1 point of attack speed. On this, you're getting 1 point of lifesteal. On this, you're getting 1 point of power. They're all the same. It's just Agoran Scepter doesn't lend well to someone like Murdoch. So once again, making it as cheap as humanly possible, making it a 9-point card. Okay? We'll get rid of that. And we'll go straight to crit. Chance, not damage. Okay, so I would always, this is personal, okay? I would normally always do the same thing and go for 12 points per the Rift Hunter. But really, the any ranger that has Fury is in a really good spot, because they have Red Eye Nitro, they have Micro Nukes, and they have, don't run this, please stop running this on Murdoch, it's useless on Murdoch. That just goes towards my point of you can build any way you want with any cards you want, as long as you get to, as long as you're being efficient. My goal is to try and teach you how to be efficient with building your builds. This is not an argument over whether this card is efficient or not. It's just a waste because he does not cause bleed. So if you're not following Grux around like a bad smell, it's a waste of a card, because that passive is like, you look at this here, you've got 4 points of crit, 5.5 attack speed. That's 2 points. That's 2 CP, okay? So the passive is wasted, so you're getting 2 points of value out of a 3-point card. Whereas on Micro Nuke, the 12 power is 2 points, the crit chance is 1 point, and the power is 6. So you're getting 4 points of value out of a 3-point card instead of 2 points value. So you're just shooting yourself in the foot if you do that. You also have Impact Hammers. Impact Hammers are really, really good. Even as an early game card, an option, a good option would be to run one with 3 minor wounds. Okay, so they're really good cards. These, the Impact Hammer, the Micro Nuke, Red Eye Nitro, great. So if we were to go for, this is not how I build, but if you wanted to, you could most definitely use a Red Eye Nitro. Okay, so, and as I said, I don't actually use them, so it's got 2 points on there, so I would assume that you'd probably actually want to go for probably 2 2s. Actually, you probably want to max that card out. I feel like we'll have a look at that when I get to the full build, because you always do have to actually work it out. So that's an 8-point card. We could do away with that, because that's actually we could actually make that a 10 and make up for the fact that this is an 8. So let's just go back onto that and let's take that off and put 2 Brutal Kinetics on. That's a lot of attack speed, and you're not going to need any more than that. He's going to hit like a truck still, and he's going to hit really, really fast. But like I said before, if you prefer them to be slower, okay, you could just actually put 1 kinetic, and some crit on. Okay, so now we have a 10-point card, an 8-point card, and 9, so technically 3 9s. Okay, so we'll go for 1 more 9 and 2 12s. So then with this, we're going to have only 4% crit chance on it. So we'll go for what I normally do and go for a Spirit of the Rift Hunter as a 12. And then because you have something like a micro nuke, which gives you a lot of power, you can actually go and we need 1 more 12 and a 9. We could actually just make this a 9, okay, and put, say, 3 strikes on it. That makes it a 9-point card. And then you're at the point where if you do need to run wards, I would run the ward as a 12-point card. But if not, you could just run this as a 12-point card, okay? And then if we get out of there and we go to test build and put all these cards on and put all these upgrades on, all of them, sorry about the clicking, folks. Okay, we end up with 20 lifesteal, our crit damage bonus. We're at 156 power though, okay, and we're at what are we at there? 171.8 attack speed, which is a good amount. I'm at 64 crit chance, which I personally think is good. But like I said before, some people actually think that that's a little bit too much. So, and they go for 56. Okay, so we could take off one of these out of here. We could take off that and change it to a 1. Alright, so we'll take 2 points off of that and we'll put 2 points off of this. So I'm done. We'll go to this Spirit of the Rift Hunter. We'll take those 2 upgrades off and change them both to 2s. And then we'll go to this micro nuke and we'll take 2 of them off and we'll make them major casts. Okay, I actually really love this deck builder. It is so much quicker because normally I would either have to do the math in my head or I would have to go and do solo versus AI and hope I get to 60 points. Okay, so we've adjusted that. We've gone to 56% crit chance, 168 power, and we're once again at 171.8. This is a really good build, okay? It will work very, very well, and like I said before, you could always just, you could even, on this brand of the Iron Eater, you could switch out 2 points of lifesteal, just go for 15. You could then change that for crit chance, okay, 2 points of crit chance, and then you could actually take this off and put even more power on, okay? But that's Murdoch in a nutshell. One thing as far as building Murdoch goes, because with Sparrow and Grim, as far as the early game cards, you're kind of left to a point where it's like, build a 6-point Wind Carver Blade, build a 6-point Whirling Wand, you know, anything that's sort of 6 points. But Twin Blast and Murdoch are in a great place because they have Madstone Gems. Madstone Gems are disgusting, okay? You get, what I would normally do is to grab a bunch of Madstone Gems, and then how many CP are we at? We would only have enough room to put another one on. Okay, so we'd have 2 Madstone Gems on, and we could either grab like a Flashlight Piston, but I would just go for 3 Madstone Gems. These things are incredible. Okay, so like if you look at this, okay, if we get rid of this and this and this, just to make a couple of slots, just to show you the difference, okay, like say a Wind Carver Blade, you would, I'm not even going to have the CP, I can show you with 1 card, okay, so if we go into here and we go to test build again, alright, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, oh, that's not how you get rid of it, get rid of them, okay, if we put a Madstone Gem on, and we max it out, at 5 CP we've got 30 power and 5.5 attack speed. But if we were to go for a Wind Carver Blade, we would need an extra CP to get just an extra 6 power. It is kind of relative to the way that you look at it, like they're pretty much the same thing. If you were to spend an extra point, you would turn a Madstone Gem into a Wind Carver Blade anyway. But you're able to build them a lot quicker, okay? So these worth 5, 10, 15. by the time you got to 15 and maxed out 3, you would not have enough to max out 3 wind carver blades. So technically you would be ahead of other people. So we put these on, and just looking at how much damage you would be doing early on, you would have 90 power and 16.5 attack speed. That is disgusting early game, and it is something that you should definitely consider doing, okay? Now that is, Twin Blast is pretty much exactly the same thing, okay? He's Fury as well, so I would recommend that you do the exact same thing with 20. He will work exactly the same way because he's Fury as well. I'm forgetting what is his other affinity. I forget off the top of my head. Growth, which unfortunately growth is not the best for rangers. It kind of used to be okay in Legacy because you could run a couple of cards with someone like Sparrow, but Sparrow is probably in the worst spot for everyone else because her cards are pretty shit. Okay, like we're going. This is where I have trouble. I have trouble building Sparrow. Okay, so as far as lifesteal goes, I'm sure you've noticed that I like to go for a card that's not even popped up yet. If you could frickin' hurry up, come on. I like to go for Silent Indignation, which is eventually. Oh, we're on the wrong. I'm sorry. I'm talking absolute smack, and I'm on the wrong type. I like to go for Silent Indignation. Okay, which gives me an active of attack speed, and I can build lifesteal on it. So if I wanted to make 20 lifesteal on this, I would need to put a 3-point upgrade into 2-point upgrades, which would take us to 11 points. It's quite expensive. Some people like to build sort of the altars. I don't like using them. As I said before, I don't like putting my crit bonus onto my crit damage card. My lifesteal on my crit damage card, but it's not a bad idea. It's just personal preference that I don't like to do it. So if you want to do it that way, it is perfectly fine. Avoid Touch of Thieves, avoid Jewel of the Apostle because mana regen is not useful. Same with Stone of Salvation. Silent Indignation is a good option, but also Oasis Siphon. So this is something that Freak actually does with his build. He goes for an Oasis Siphon. Okay, the 2.8 health regen is... that's much of a muchness, but if you were going to go for 20, if you wanted to go for 20 lifesteal, you would only have to put that much on, okay? So that ends up being a 10-point card, whereas if I want to do it on this, I need to do the same thing. And it ends up being an 11-point card. Yes, you can argue that the 27.5 attack speed is way more useful than the health regen, but it's personal preference, okay? Freak likes to run this, I like to run this. He is not wrong in using this, because in the end, he's getting what he wants out of the card, okay? He's not taking Jewel of the Apostle and, completely wasting points, because it's a 5-point card. He doesn't need mana regen, he doesn't need an active that gives him damage equal to his ability armor, because that's bugger all, because he's not using ability armor, so he only has 30.5. 35% of 30.5 is roughly around 10 damage. That's just not even worth it. It's not even a mouse on a wheel. Okay, so the this is going to be this will be a crit build for her because we're going to build them all the same sort of way. So once again, attack speed. She gets attack speed now per level, which is great. So I would, on her, I normally go for, oh, that is the wrong card, guys. I don't go for minor kinetics, I go for kinetics. Okay, so that is what I would use for my attack speed, the Whirling Wand, and then we would want crit damage. I'll just get rid of this so it doesn't confuse things later on. And I go for Blade of Agora. Once again, it's personal preference, but I feel like it's the best option in my opinion. Okay? And then this is where she struggles. She doesn't have good crit chance cards, okay? So this is shit. It's really good for someone like, these cards are really good for someone like Greystone, like Bright Steel Plate or Golden Veil. They're really good. This is not any good for any sort of ranger. None of these cards are. So you're left with Rift Mage's Scepter and a Spear of the Rift Hunter. So I will take a Spear of the Rift Hunter and get as much crit on one card as possible. Okay, you could even argue to go for Zealous Wounds, but I don't like using 4-point upgrades. So we'll add that in. That'll give us 48 crit chance. So at the moment we have a 9 point, an 11 point, a 12 and a 9. Okay, so if we would do the same thing and go for 2 12s and 4 9s, we would need to make up a point here. So we will have an extra 12 and we'll have a 9 and a 10. Okay, alright, so we're only sitting on 48 attacks, crit chance, so it would probably take this, that'll take me to 60, and we'll make this a 9, we'll go for this, this, and this. So it's a 9 point card, bit of damage, gets us to the amount of crit chance that we want, and then from here you want power, okay? So we need more power, so I would actually go for Wind Carver Blade. Okay, so we have a 9, a 12, a 9, an 11, and a 9. So we need a 10 point card. So we take a Wind Carver Blade, and to make it a 10, you would need to put 3 point and 2 points onto it. Okay, so we're at 60 total CP. So let's have a look and see how good that is. Okay, so we put all these cards on. Boom. Just bash them on. And it takes a while. Okay, so we've got 20 lifesteal. We've only got 132 power. We have 64% crit chance. And we have, what is that? 194 attack speed. So you can make the argument that there's too much attack speed. Okay. So say I'm done. Go to the Whirling Wand. Take a kinetic off and put a cast on. So, oh, and I did not save that. So we'll go back in there, we'll take that off, we'll put the strike on, we'll replace the 4 cards, we'll go to test build, put this back on, and see what we see. 144, that's a lot better. And we're at 183.2 attack speed. Okay, so what I would probably do in this instance, I don't really want to lower that anymore, because the great thing about Sparrow is that she gains damage from stacks, so you want to hit as often as possible to get those stacks. So what I would probably do is take 5 life steal off, maybe 10. Okay, so I would go and take 2 points over this. So we would just drop this. Oh, sorry. We would just drop this and put a 1 on. Okay, so we'd end up at 15. So we've taken 2 points off, so we'll put 2 points somewhere else. So we'll make this, just make this a 12. So we'll take these guys off. We'll just make it a 12. Okay, we'll save it. No, we don't need to save it. And we'll add this back on. We're at 156 power. That's much better. Okay, so we're once again we're at 183.2 attack speed, which is nothing to turn your nose up about, especially considering on this you're getting 27.5. So you're hitting 210% attack speed. Okay, that is huge, especially considering if we go and, oh no, it's not actually going to tell us. We can, however, find out what her Sparrow. So she hits at 1.2. Okay, so once every 1.2 seconds. So we're going to end up over 200% attack speed. So you're going to be hitting once every less than 0.6 of a second. Okay, so you're probably going to hit nearly twice a second, which is huge, because once you get to 5 hits, that just stacks at max, and you're doing as much damage as humanly possible, and no one's really going to last long after you get to there. So within 2.5 seconds, people are just going to start to die. Okay, and that is another reason why you can actually drop this even further. Okay, you could take another 2 points off this and go for even more damage. Alright, so you could change this to a 3 and this to a 2. Alright, do anything you want. But like I said, 156, really good number for a crit build on a ranger. And like I said, she doesn't really have the best options for early game cards. What I would normally do is I would probably go for Wind Carver Blades and like say go for a couple with 3 minor strikes on them. minor casts, and then get another one and put all minor kinetics on it. That will give you a really good build early on. So if you take all these off, your early game cards would be these three here. So you'd finish your first one, be on 48 power and an extra 16.5 attack speed. Your second one will get you 78 power, an extra 16.5 attack speed. Why is it not working? Okay, no, that's fine. It's right. I'm just retarded because it comes on at the start of the card. So yeah, once you get to your third one, 90 power, 33 attack speed. That is brilliant for an early build, especially for her. That attack speed is going to help quite a lot. Obviously, you're not going to be that high, okay? So by the time you get them done, you're probably at level 6, level 5 or 6. Okay, so you'll only actually have 114 attack speed at this level, which that 33 is huge. Okay, it's just under a third. It's about 40% of your attack speed. Alright, so that's really good. Okay, that's a great way to build all your ranges. Okay, the main points that I want you to focus on is the cards that aren't useful. How much you get for the card for what their cost is. Like if you're struggling for crit chance on your build, looking at a Spirit of the Rift Hunter, you get 1 point of power, 1 point of crit, and then your fully upgraded bonus is 2 points of crit. So you're getting 4 points of value for a 3-point card, okay? When you come down, like with a Ranger, you do not want to mess about with any of these really expensive cards. Unless you're in Legacy and you want to use Charging Brute, but it's pretty shit right now. Okay, you don't want any of this Honor the Pure bullshit or anything that anyone else uses, because if you're in a 1v1 with a Ranger, another Ranger, the amount of damage that I have actually seen people use this, the amount of damage you will lose off of Honor the Pure to gain 500, a buff of 500 health or 500 shield, it's not going to save you, because Murdoch is going to be critting for a 500, so you've bought yourself one basic attack, okay? And you're doing less damage anyway, so you're probably dead, alright? So just think about what they are worth to you. Think about whether you need a ward. Think about maximizing crit chance onto one card if possible, okay? Go for things that have bonuses that you will need if this wants to let me move. So looking at a Staff of Adamant compared to a Windcarver Blade, with Sparrow you want attack speed, you want power, you don't want mana, so don't go for Staff of Adamant. The other thing, just quickly, and I have used them from time to time, Adamant Edges, I do use them, and I just put them on willy-nilly, but they're really not that good. If you think about it, max health of 50, that is a ranger's attack speed, attack damage at level 1. So you've bought yourself one basic attack. It's really not worth it. Okay, stacking the attack speed off a Windcarver Blade is going to be much bigger. Okay, so try to remember some of those tips. Try to maximize what stat you need to get on a card as easily as possible. So when it comes to lifesteal, try to get all the lifesteal you need as cheap as possible. Use anything that you want throughout this build. So like Silent Indignation, figure out how much lifesteal you feel like you need. Test out 10, test out 15, test out 20. Okay, see how well it works for you. And as long as you are building in a way that gets you to an efficient build, and you are building it so it's as cheap as humanly possible as you make your way through the game, with cheap cards that can be replaced with more expensive cards, you're going to be doing well, okay? And just remember, don't use those useless cards, okay? Just have a good read of them and try to make the best choice that you possibly can. Okay, so that's it for today. I know that's super simple, but ranges are super simple. It's going to be a little bit harder when we get on to the sort of burst casters and stuff, like Howie and Gideon. So I might just do sort of two characters together to sort of try to keep a more concise video. But I hope you enjoyed that, guys. As I said earlier, if you think that this is kind of hard to follow using the online deck builder, let me know, I do not mind doing it through the game. It's up to you if you think it's going to be easier for you to follow along. Then let me know. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please drop me a comment down below and ask. I will reply to every single one of my comments as soon as humanly possible, okay? There is no such thing as a stupid question, okay guys? So just ask away. But that is it. So if you did like this video, please smash that like button. As I said, leave me a comment. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And as per usual, thank you so much for watching. I love your face. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.